And we have turned. Welcome back to the stream, everybody. That right there was the final boss theme from Yoshi's Island, and that was a metal cover done by Toxic X Eternity. On over on YouTube. Again, that's a fellow who's done a lot of metal covers over the years of various video game themes. And yeah, it occurred to me I haven't actually streamed that one, even though it's one of my favorite Super Nintendo games, so maybe I should do that one of these days. You would assume I would do that now because it's Sunday, but I won't. I'm not going to, because I'm not set up for this. Today is going to be, surprise, surprise, a short stream that I'm going to be doing basically as smoothly as I possibly can. For a few reasons. Number one being I've been sick since I think at least Wednesday. I'm not bad now. I felt like shit this morning. Friday, I was in a terrible state. Of course, I did not take any time off to rest because A, there's too much stuff needs to be done, and B, I'm a fool. As a matter of fact, I worked a lot of overtime this past week. Yeah. Because fuck. Because fuck is the best way for me to... Yeah. So anyway, I don't even know how long this is gonna go, because I've been finding sometimes I'm good, other times I kind of lose the ability to speak after a while, so we'll see how that goes. Also, even though you're probably not here to hear it, hello Rolls, thank you for dropping by, and I hope you enjoy your dinner. God, where am I going with this? Yeah, basically, I haven't streamed in 2 weeks, and I'm probably going to do some Project Zomboid, because I've been playing a lot of Project Zomboid the last few days, because that's really all... It's funny, because it's a very granular, nitpicky game that the slightest lapse of your attention can get you killed, but for whatever reason, I've been able to lock into a zone where I can play that with the weird headspace I'm in. So I feel like I'm just going to stick with that. See how it goes. And I mean, hey, it's been, even though I've streamed a lot of Zomboid lately, and not the, I mean, the last time I streamed was Legend of Dragoon, but the time before that was just a bunch of Zomboid. So it's like, yeah, I've streamed a lot of Zomboid lately, except I haven't actually streamed any Zomboid in almost a month, because I mean, it's been 2 weeks since I streamed last anyway, because that's just how things are. Be ready for a very cynical cap too, because I'm just done. I'm just being very, very pessimistic and cynical because of I'm overworked and I'm sick and I'm tired and all of that stuff. But I felt like I should probably try to cram a stream in somehow if I can, such as it is. Speaking of very cynical and pessimistic, I do have to address something that I talked about last time I streamed, because you see, last time I streamed, before I started playing Legend of Dragoon, I was addressing the whole thing as like, yeah, I may as well put in my 2 cents about the rumors about an Oblivion remake or remaster coming out. And I was like, I don't see it happening. Like, very specifically, as like, it's going to come out the day after I was streaming. I was like, I don't see how this is just going to come out of the blue without any sort of announcement. And I thought, bullshit, that's actually happening. And I was correct. It did not come out on Monday. It came out the day after on Tuesday. So, I don't know if I actually said I'd do so, but I'm now going to eat my hat. Except not really. And if I was going to eat one, I don't think I could. I think I could have chosen a better material than felt. I've got one made out of leather over there. I feel like that would be more appetizing. Not that appetizing, but, you know, still kind of appetizing, I guess. Better than felt. But yeah, no, the Oblivion Remaster is real. And apparently it's been selling like the proverbial hotcakes. And I've been finding it really funny. Well, first of all, I have to once again say, what the fuck do I know? Apparently it was real in the first place. Like, it was a legitimate thing. Go figure. I will readily admit how wrong I was about that. But after hearing rumors about it for, like, apparently 2 years, and it just kept rolling and rolling without any actual official announcement, I was like, this can't be real, and hey, fuck me, right? But, I don't know, I'm happy that a lot of fans of the game are reliving the glory days of it, and a lot of new fans have dropped in because there's a lot of people who have been playing it who have only ever played Skyrim. Which is easily enough done because Skyrim came out 14 years ago and they've re-released it like 7 times. So there's an entire generation of people that's the only Elder Scrolls game they've ever played, except maybe online, because that came out after. And I don't know, one of these days I might get it. It does look pretty neat. The one thing I was afraid of is they were going to completely overhaul it and take out the thing that I consider made Oblivion special, which was the weirdness. Apparently what they did was they actually just kind of did a complete graphical overhaul, and they sort of tweaked the leveling system and some of the UI and stuff like that, but other than that, the game is almost exactly the same. All the lines of dialogue are the same, the character AI is the same. All of the bugs that were originally are still there, because somebody actually did a little test. They installed the original and they installed the remaster, and a lot of the base game files, like the ESMs and stuff like that, exactly the same. To the point where they copied and pasted one from the other and back again, and both games still ran. So it's really, quite legitimately, the original Oblivion is underneath the remaster. And honestly, that's kind of what I would prefer, because the thing that makes Oblivion so unique over something like Skyrim is because of the oddities that this wild and woolly way they tried to make it would get it to work. There's also been some new and interesting bugs, because there's a particular quest, I mean, it's been a long time since I've done it in the game, but killing fields, where you have to go help a couple of brothers fight waves of goblins to defend their farm. You usually get, like, I don't know, 4 to 8, maybe, goblins show up per wave. There's a bug that's happened that I've never seen in the original, wherein you get to the final wave, and, like, 50 goblins show up. And they keep showing up, to the point where you kill the amount that you need to kill to finish the quest. The quest completed thing pops up, but more goblins keep showing up. I was like, look, they kept all the classic bugs and they added some new ones. Again, I haven't played it. I might get it at some point or another. I mean, I've discussed this several times. It's like, as can clearly be seen by the fact that it's been 2 weeks since I've streamed, and this is going to be another short slapdash stream. I simply don't have the time to do this frequently, which is why I'm always like, I don't understand people who can, like, jump on top of a new release and then fucking burn through it in the span of a few days. Like, now, this is funny because I did actually spend a bit of money on some video game related stuff recently, but I can't justify, even though the remaster is not absurdly expensive. Like, it's, let's see, how much is it Canadian? I'm actually going to look it up now, because I have Steam open. Yeah, the remastered version is $66.99, which is not cheap, but it's also not stupidly expensive. I can't justify spending $70 on that right now. I just can't. And I sure as shit don't have the time to play it, because, yeah. I mean, hell, I started playing the original 4 years ago, and I still haven't finished it. I gotta get back to that. So. But I'm happy that people are enjoying it. I'm happy that it's still kind of... like, it's funny, because there's... in a lot of the reviews, there's a couple of different ways you can tell people who haven't played it before versus people who have. Because a lot of the negative reviews are pointing out stuff that they hate. There's like, well, why didn't they fix this? Or why didn't they fix that? And that's clearly people who haven't played it before. Whereas people who have are like, I love that they kept this broken-ass shit in this game. This is why I loved it in the first place. Although there's also newcomers to the game who are noticing that there's a lot of stuff Oblivion did that Skyrim took out. Like, you got more gear options in Oblivion than you do in Skyrim, and the spellcrafting system in Oblivion is absurd. You can do all kinds of insane shit with it. And of course, you know, the Morrowind fans, like, pointing out that all the shit that was cut out of Skyrim from Oblivion, there was even more shit cut out of Oblivion from Morrowind. Debating over which of those 3 games are the best is a kettle of fish I don't want to get into, especially since when you gotta take into consideration you're looking at a span of over 20 years between them all. Well, no. Yeah, Morrowind came out in the early 2000s. Oblivion came out like 4 years after that, I think. And then Skyrim came out like 5 years after that. Anyway, doesn't matter. Different eras. But yeah, no, this is an instance where I'm happy to be wrong. I'm glad that it came back. I'm glad that people are enjoying it. I myself might dive into it again one of these days, but honestly, what's probably going to happen is if I ever stream Oblivion again, and I should, I'm just going to go back to the game that I already started in the original version and try to finish that. I am happy to see that you can still create absolute monstrosities in the character creator, though. So when I do eventually get to it, I can still make my teal-colored orc. I just don't think I'm going to be able to make him neon and glowing, because it looks like the weird shine that you got on characters in the original. You can do. But yeah, Oblivion, the remaster, it exists. Who would have figured? That being said, I am still doubtful that the other rumored thing, that Obsidian is making another Fallout spin-off a la New Vegas, don't think that's true. However, I would also be okay with being wrong about that. Of course, it's also rumored now that there's a remaster of Fallout 3 being made, in the same vein as Oblivion. Whatever. I don't know. I can't speak to any of that, and obviously, considering I thought that the Oblivion Remaster was bullshit, nobody should listen to me anyway. So there's that. Oh yes, I did mention that I did spend some money on some video game related things recently. One of them, which is funny because I'm not going to use it tonight, is this. There was not a massive sale, but a relatively decent sale on these controllers made by Doe. And I've heard, however you pronounce it, I've heard they're pretty good. I've used it briefly to play a bit of Dead Rising on PC, and it's, also some Portal. And it's actually pretty nice, because it's like a Pro controller. It's got the same layout as a Xbox controller, and it's got a nice weight, feels pretty comfortable. Apparently it does work with the Switch too, so. Well, the Switch as well, I should say. I don't know if it works with the Switch 2, but it probably does when it comes out. I guess we'll see. Because that's the other thing I never actually stopped to talk about, like the 2 directs that Switch did. The first one that announced a bunch of stuff that was coming out on the original up until 2026, and the second one that showcased the Switch 2. Yeah, that's the other thing I spent some money on. I pre-ordered a Switch 2. Maybe I shouldn't have, because it is pretty expensive. But hey, I've got like a $60 down payment on one, so that's for future Steven to worry about. In a couple of months, I can worry about spending the money on picking up the thing I should be good for that. I should be able to swing it. And of course, I got the version with Mario Kart World, because why would I not? Because that knocks like $30 off the price of an already very expensive game. But yeah, no, Switch 2. I'm gonna have one of those now in a couple of months, presumably, providing something fucky doesn't happen. And it occurred to me afterwards when because it's a local store, I did the pre-order. Didn't do it online. Put myself in a queue with Nintendo themselves. And it occurred to me because the woman on the other end was like, yeah, do you want to pre-order any other accessories or games or something like that? And it's like, no, I think I'm good. This is going to be expensive enough. But I didn't think about it afterwards. Another thing that's a launch title for the Switch 2 is the director's cut of Yakuza 0. I don't think I've mentioned anything about this, but like, they're doing an upgraded version of that game, and it's going to be a launch title for the Switch 2. It's coming out the same day, and I think it might be exclusive to it for a little bit. So, okay. I probably shouldn't get that, but at some point I think I'm going to end up getting that. With all the money I have to burn, you know? Oh yeah, the other thing I picked up too, which is another reason why I'm not doing any Legend of Dragoon today, is I picked up some component cables as opposed to composite cables. Now, specifically, they're for the PS2. But I think they might work for the PS1 as well. And one thing I've learned is that the component cables give you better picture quality than the composite does. And I've been having some issues with the composite cables that came with the PS2 I bought. I mean, they're not bad, but you get a little bit of buzz, as you can notice sometimes when I was streaming it. I don't know if it's going to work with the PS1, but it's definitely going to work with the PS2. And yeah, so I've got some composite cables. Hopefully that's going to work and play nice with all of this, and then I can actually get at least somewhat sharper picture quality, because I have noticed it's a little bit fuzzy. I think it locks it back into its original aspect ratio, which is fine by me. It doesn't stretch it. And yeah, the only reason why I'm not doing anything with that is because I ordered a converter, because it's the only way I can get it to hook up to this with the whole HDMI thing. Because the converter I have only works for composite, so I needed to get one that specifically would accept component cables. Like, this thing's only got 3 connectors. I think I need 5. So yeah, I'm probably not going to... That should arrive sometime in the next couple of days. For whatever reason, despite the fact I ordered the controller and cables all at the same time, the converter came as a separate shipment, so it's not here yet. What else? Oh yes, something else. I said I was going to try to stream at some point if I could get it to work, and I think I'm close, but we'll see what happens. And this is relevant to the Switch announcements, not the Switch 2, but the one they did, Jesus, over a month ago, talking about the stuff that was coming out for the Switch, the original up to 2026. Something that's coming out in 2026, and honestly, I was so excited for it that I completely forgot everything else that was announced. I think they gave us more footage of Metroid Prime 4, but nah, none of that shit matters. They're releasing a sequel to Tomodachi Life. Now, I don't know how much I've talked about Tomodachi Life on stream. I think I did a little, but I fucking love that game. Came out on the 3DS back in 2015, I want to say, something like that. And it's like Animal Crossing, except 100% weirder. You create little Mii characters, you drop them in a world, and they just live their absurd lives while you kind of fuck around with them, essentially. And it is beautiful. It's beautiful in its insanity. And me and my friend, the one that I work with, because I think I watched somebody stream it, and then I had to get it, and then I showed it to her, and then she had to get it, and then every now and then for the last, like, well, not 10 years, not since it was released, but like a few years after it was released, and we started thinking about it, we were like, so for the last several years, every now and then, one of us will be like, you know, it'd be really nice if they made a sequel to Tomodachi Life, or even just ported it to the Switch, and we're like, yeah, it would be great. Anyway, I remember the day they had that direct, we were on our lunch break, and I was just looking at an updated list of like the announcements that were made during the direct, and I was going through, I was like, oh yeah, it's like we got this kind of like farming sim thing, a couple of interesting RPGs, there's Metroid looks really cool, and then I got to Tomodachi Life, and I was like, oh shit! And she was like, what? And then I just show her the trailer, and the two of us lost it. And we were really excited about that for the rest of the day, to the point where like we'd keep reminding each other throughout the rest of the week, is like, remember, Tomodachi's coming back. So to say I'm excited for Tomodachi Life is an understatement. And it looks like they've really expanded on it, which is great. And I have a year to wait for it, essentially, because I don't know if they gave an explicit release date, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's coming out around this time next year. So, I'm in the process of setting up to stream the original well, it's not the original, because there was a game called Tomodachi Collection released on the original DS, but that was never translated. I don't think that ever left Japan. Well, it might have been in Europe, but I don't think it came here. So I'm trying to set things up so I can actually stream Tomodachi Life sometime. It's the type of game that you can't really do a whole bunch in one go. So what I'm probably going to end up doing is, like, I'm going to throw that on for maybe half an hour before streaming something else, like, every so often, just to see what happens. And I have a whole array of characters I've got planned that I can drop in there. Some from when I created it back in the day, or played it back in the day. I'm thinking it might be fun to pick a couple of characters, or one character from nearly every game I've ever streamed. I just need to figure out which one. Well, you know, you gotta drop. I gotta drop Kiryu and Majima in there at some point. But we'll see how that goes. But yeah, Tomodachi Life, super excited. I honestly cannot remember what else they announced for the Switch in that one. I mean, Metroid Prime 4 looks really great too, but I also have Dread and the remaster of Prime that I have not played yet, so I gotta get to that at some point. But yeah, no, the Switch 2 thing, I've said repeatedly on stream that if I'm going to get a newer console, it's going to be whatever the successor to the Switch is. And yes, obviously that's what I'm doing. Because I have zero interest in getting a new Xbox, and the PS5 only has 2 games that I can think of that I'd want to get. There has been a lot of talk about how expensive the Switch 2 is, and holy fuck is it ever? Especially since the game prices have gone up, because I think Mario, if I not gotten the bundle, I think if I had bought Mario Kart 8 as its own thing, I think that would cost me $90. No, not Mario Kart 8, Mario Kart World 8 is the one that's on the Switch. I think it would cost me like $90, closer to 100. And it seems like a lot of AAA games, that's what they're going to be. But I mean, another way to look at that is Baldur's Gate 3 is a game that I know I should play at some point. But like, just to get a digital version of Baldur's Gate 3 on Steam, that's $80. And I've seen that only go down maybe $15 since it came out like 2 years ago. So that's just the thing, like, video games are stupidly expensive, and they're only going to continue getting stupidly expensive. And that's not getting into the political fuckery that I don't want to talk about. That's part of the reason why it's all going up. I mean, this is the reason why, that's also the reason why the Switch pre-orders were supposed to go live at the beginning of April, and then they got delayed for a few weeks. I don't know if you can, I'm pretty sure you can pre-order in the States now, but like, they delayed it in Canada for at least a couple of weeks and then brought it back. I'm actually kind of surprised they didn't increase the price when they brought the pre-order back, but I suppose they already gave it a price, and they were like, well, we can't. And there's certain business analysts who are like, they're surprised Nintendo's not charging more for it because of all this, but, you know, whatever. But hey, I mean, that's the thing. I was going to say I haven't bought a video game console in years, but I did actually buy one I still haven't talked about last year for like $120. It's specifically a system that's kind of a new system that specifically plays retro games. One of these days I'll talk about it. I keep meaning to do it for Retro Sunday one of these days, but I tired. So there's a little hint to something that I still might not talk about for months yet, but there we are. But I mean, beyond that, the last new console, like new console I bought was the Switch in 2017. So I think I can semi-justify getting the new one. As much as that's going to be a hit on my pocketbook when the time comes. But I don't know. Said, hey, Mario Kart World actually looks like it's really neat, and you can play as a goddamn penguin now. Which, I mean, hell, that had me sold on it to begin with. I don't have to play as the Shy Guy in the black or blue cloak and pretend he's a penguin now. Though I still love that guy. I might still do that. Anyway, that might be enough of a ramble about that stuff for me right now, because the more I do that, the more my voice is probably going to go, and I still need to actually, you know, stream a thing. At least an hour and a half.